Welcome all, and welcome back to the most unfocused internet show possibly in the history of the world, Fear of Boredom. And I'm really living up to that unfocused line that I give myself because having a big structural change with the show for this third episode. To start, the Fixation Station is going to now act as its own sort of sister show. And basically what that means is that I am going to do two selections. Actually, no, I'm cutting that completely out. Sorry, I'm sort of thinking on the fly with this one a little bit. You would think I'm ill prepared, but I feel like I've been over preparing too, and now I've just got my mind a little bit scattered. But that's okay. We're just gonna fuck it and ball. But basically, the current fixation selections that I have selected at this time, I'm gonna make some sort of individual video about both the Avengers Academy Fear Itself storyline and the Creepshow series. Now, strictly off of just simply not wanting to, I am not gonna do a video or really have anything for 070 Shake or Dune Prophecy. Those are the two things that just, with my mind and where I'm at, I'm just... movies and comics are going to be like the two main focuses, and then I'll come around to the others when I can. But basically, there'll be an individual videos on this channel that'll be of the fixation selections, and each video's format will kind of vary from basically just what it could just be me sitting there and just telling you my feelings about the movie, and it could be just like an 8-minute mini review, or like for the Creepshow trilogy, I do kind of have a fun idea for like a tier list for all the short stories across the anthology series. But so something like that, and you kind of think of this show and that show as sort of sister shows in that facet, because there will be a segment for Fear of Boredom where I do discuss different things that I've consumed within the last week. And with that, if that is some fixation selections, then I will talk about that to some degree in this show as well. So, the second major change is that this is going to be more kind of podcast formatted. I still want to kind of call it an internet show just because, I don't know, like I feel like there are going to be visuals that I do rely on for whatever the case may be. And I don't know. And I do plan to put this out on podcasts, because I think the only podcast that doesn't allow video format at this time is Apple Podcasts. So if that's a bullet I gotta bite, I'm more than welcome to. But so that will be in the cards as well. And with that, we can just go ahead and go on to the show. We will start the show with the news. We will a returning segment that is not going to change. We are going to have a news segment from episode to episode. Varying on topics just depending on how I feel from week to week. How much time we spend on it will also vary. So to start with some light world news, the Donald Trump's tariffs have officially gone into effect, and Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau said that the U.S. president has chosen to launch a trade war that will first and foremost harm American families. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have no idea how to feel about the state of our country right now. I may have had a little bit of a rant on this in the second episode. I can't quite remember. But, like, there's so much happening all at once that I'm constantly overwhelmed and don't have time to really collect myself and figure out what I can do about it. You know what I mean? And I feel like there may be a lot of people that are sort of feeling that way. And that sucks. That really fucking sucks. Because I keep seeing all these clips of all these other countries taking time to protest Donald Trump and kind of point out the fact, like, hey guys, what your dude is doing is fucking insane. And, like, we're just here, like, trying to vibe. And that's pretty cowardice of us. Like, I don't know what to do. I try to avoid, like, hearing about it because I just simply do. Like, brother, I fucking am working. Like, I'm a college dropout, like, working at a retail position, and I'm not going to be specific as to what kind of retail, but it's like a service type industry, not necessarily like a store, but um working pretty much paycheck to paycheck. And like, yeah, I am in the position where I should care about those things. And yes, I'm spending so much time on my fucking movies and this show and this, that, and the other thing, but like, man, I don't know, just everything around me just kind of just is just imminent doom, that I don't have the courage to really look in to see how bad it is. And I feel really shitty about that sometimes, but I just, because another thing is, the only people that I'm around for majority of the time is like my girlfriend, and I don't necessarily want to talk about those things with her because I just don't know exactly what effect that has on her and how she may spiral because of those things, because we've dipped into some of it a little bit here and there, and I've gotten a bit existential at some points, and that has caused her to also like kind of go into this little panic regarding it. And I hate when that happens, and I don't want that to happen, but it's that thing where we kind of have to think of something, you know, like we're at that point, it's here, you know, and I don't know, I really don't know. That I probably shouldn't have started with such a heavy topic. I don't usually, well, actually, that's probably not true. I probably will be political when, if it's something that I am passionate about, I can go a while regarding some subjects. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot going on, and I don't even know where to start, really. How about some movies? Osgood Perkins. You may know Osgood Perkins. His recent movie, The Monkey, has been in theaters for a few weeks now. And he was talking to someone, and someone asked him about like his Star Wars film, like if he were to make a Star Wars film, what would that be? I'm just now noticing that I didn't cite where I saw this from. I believe it was probably a Culture Crave tweet, but whether or not where the original quote comes from, I have no idea. But he was asked what his idea for a Star Wars film would be, and quote, he says, "The collected dreams and nightmares of Darth Vader told as short stories." And I don't have much to say about this. I kind of just wanted to voice that because it was something that I read that I found pretty interesting, that would be something that I may be into. If I don't know, I don't think he's done animation before, but I like his style at filming horror. It may be too big of a project for him to do. I like what he can do with less, I guess. Excuse me. But I don't know. I don't really know why I put that in there. I just thought it was interesting. So thought it was a kind of a unique idea, because I can imagine the turmoil that goes on in Annie's head. But another thing I read on, another thing I saw was the fucking did you see The Rock is apparently leading the next Martin Scorsese film? I did not hear about this like in the slightest. It came across my feed today that he confirmed it. So apparently this was, I guess, a thing that had been circulating. I don't know. This completely blew over my head. But The Rock confirms that he will be the lead in the next Marty Scorsese movie. Now, I'm not going to be some kind of, I don't know, pretentious Scorsese fanboy, because I've not seen like a majority of his films probably. But I want to take a moment to just talk about The Rock and why I kind of don't like him. That's not a really hot take at this point. It's kind of pretty universal, but I just want to put it out in the air, my feelings of it. His just strong desire to be liked by as many as people as possible is so almost cringy at this point. Like, I don't know, like you have the WWE stuff now. I don't necessarily know what his, I guess, I don't know whether or not he was more heel or more like, I guess, like the hero or whatever. I don't exactly know what the other I'm not a big wrestling guy. I get into it a little bit. My parents like it. My dad and my stepmom like it, and I'll peek in every now and then, but whatever. I don't know exactly what his persona was when he was first big in wrestling, but you know, like him kind of being like kind of shit on for a little bit and people saying, yo, your movies suck, and then he goes back to wrestling. He's like, hey, remember that y'all like love me in this? Like, you should go back to loving me in this. And he had the whole XFL thing, which like completely like, I don't know if it failed. Is it coming back? Is that the one that coming back, or is it the fucking AFL or whatever it is? One of them failed, and one of them like kind of has had several years, like the spring football or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's the AFL. No, the AFL is arena football, isn't it? I have completely steered this train off the rails. Regardless, he just he just rubs me the wrong way. He seems very which this just goes with any Hollywood actor, but also there was this fucking thing that came out with the red one, that movie he did with fucking Captain America and the Christmas movie. I did watch it. It was fine. Like there were some parts I liked about it, but there was that whole thing where he would show up like 7 to 8 hours late for filming, and like that's a pretty significant chunk of a film day. Like, yes, film days do go a while, but 7 to 8 hours is no small feat. And then I don't know, there was things about him peeing in bottles to save time. It's just like weird shit has been like, the tide has completely turned for Dwayne The Rock Johnson within the last several years, which is really funny because I always felt that he was like, there was a moment when, if you were aware of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you overall were like, yeah, he's cool. And then it just got oversaturated within the last like couple, like almost 2 decades probably, if not more. Yeah, what? He was probably wrestling in the 90s, wasn't he? I'm not versed. That timetable was no idea. But yeah. I also, another thing I saw, there was that this is not The Rock anymore. I saw there was a leaked image server. Wow, take a minute. There was a leaked concept image of Doctor Doom that was reportedly supposed to be from one of the upcoming Avengers projects. But the Russo brothers have recently came out and confirmed that recent leak was not real. That is not one of their concepts. I believe this was the Hollywood Reporter that broke this one. But, which, yeah, makes sense because the concept image, if you've seen it, was cool. And apparently the Russo brothers have no idea of how to make anything anymore. Which goes to show that I'm pretty weary about the future of the MCU, because say what you want about the movies that the Russo brothers have made, there are some good ones that they've made some movies that are beloved by me, right? But I don't know, it sounds like everything they've made since has been kind of dog. So yeah. Also got to check out some recent trailers that just came out. You mind if I talk about those for a little bit? The Life of Chuck, the recent Tom Hiddleston, Mike Flanagan project. Really liked this trailer. Wasn't much, but very effective in how it's framed, in the music. I definitely had this kind of existentialism vibe that I think is what it's going for. I'm gonna guess that's what the narrative is. Like, I can't recall what the text says from me saying it now, but it was very just, I am me and I am in this world, and like I matter because of that, was sort of like the vibe I was getting from it. And I feel like this one's gonna certainly fuck me up. Like, absolutely will fuck me up, because towards the end of the trailer the music got more, not disturbing, but just, it started to go off. I'm not super versed in music either, so I don't know. I really liked it. I love the Neon Banner movies that they've put out. I've been fans of, like Climax, others that I can't recall because my mind is kind of moving a mile a minute because I'm not exactly sure if I'm happy with how this episode is going. But we're going to pull through and rock through it because that's the name of the game. And I don't have time to start this over again. I've started this over 3 times already. So, and I've had an entire, probably about 80% recorded portion of this in the original format that I have now deleted. And I also don't remember whether or not I've already said that in this episode because I may have just said it in a scrapped earlier version of this because this is my 3rd time doing it. Let's move forward. Definitely going to see this one. The Lilo and Stitch trailer. You want to take a minute on that one? So Maya Kiloa is cute as Lilo. I think she seems like good casting. Which is hard for child actors. It's funny, I always thought the Allstate guy would be perfect for Cobra Bubbles. But oh well. Overall, this trailer was boring, and there were some moments that made me laugh and made me giggle, but only because I remembered it being funny from the original. Visually, it doesn't, like, I don't know if it was the colors or the framing, but something about it just seemed like weak, like cinematography wise, and I don't know. It just really made me want to watch the original. There was a couple parts in the trailer that I could recall weren't from the animated one, and they were fine, I guess. But this is gonna be one that I think I'm gonna probably pass on. I haven't really been a big Disney guy for a while. I mean, I like Marvel and I like Star Wars, but even still, within the since 2020, it's kind of not mattered to me nearly as much. Everything under the Disney umbrella, and yeah, this is probably one that I'm gonna skip out on. But speaking of Disney and kind of on that same path of just completely running out of ideas and having to dig up old IP from the grave, we have Freakier Friday. 4 people is really fucking confusing. When you have 4 people swapping bodies, I had to literally watch. There's a portion in the trailer. Okay, so Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are returning for a sequel to Freaky Friday with Freakier Friday. But with this one, Lindsay Lohan has a daughter, and that daughter has a friend, and they are also involved in this. So their bodies are swapped. But the breakdown was that Jamie Lee Curtis's character and Lindsay Lohan's character are now in. Lindsay Lohan is in her daughter's body consciously. If you haven't seen Freaky Friday, I'm sure this is the craziest thing you've ever heard right now. But if you don't know, Freaky Friday is about a mom and a daughter who are always pissy at each other, and then something happens and they swap bodies and have to live in each other's consciousness for however long. So Freakier Friday is basically the same thing, but Lindsay Lohan's daughter and her friend are now involved, and it's not with each other. It's not the way that you think it would make sense. Because to me, it would just make sense if you redid Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan and each other, and then the friend and the daughter would just get swapped as well. Sorry, I don't have the actress's name on hand. I really should come more prepared. Maybe. See, there's different changes I can make each time. I think in my closing thoughts in episode 2, I said I wanted to add music. That's out the fucking window if we're going with this format. But so the Jamie Lee Curtis's consciousness is in. Hold on, no, fuck. See, this is why you don't do 4 people. I'm getting confused trying to explain it. Lindsay Lohan is in her daughter's body, her consciousness, or whatever, and vice versa. So Lindsay Lohan's daughter is in Lindsay Lohan's body. You following? Jamie Lee Curtis is in the daughter's friend's body, and vice versa. So I guess it's not that confusing, but it just doesn't like make sense because like whenever if we have sequences where Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are out in public, it's not them, it's the daughter and the friend, which I guess could open up for some comedy. This trailer seemed to be just like a lot of hijinks, which I guess is not a complaint, but I don't know. Like I said, just Hot to Go was fun. I guess I love Chapel, so I'll never be upset by that inclusion. But I don't know. I mean, if it's on Disney Plus, I might check it out. But this, yeah, whatever. And then the last trailer that I think I want to talk about today is this F1 trailer. Just finally got around to checking that one out. Seems like a movie you'd take your dad to, if you know what I mean. Which I probably will. This probably isn't a movie I'm gonna take the lady to. This seems like a clear dad flick, but so Brad Pitt's got Ocean's 11 hair again, which, I mean, please forget about my controversy right now. Please forget that my kids and ex-wife are dragging me in the media. Please forget that and remember how hot I am, is what it's giving for me. But this trailer was fine. It seems like they gave a lot of the plot away. However, I'm unsure, I guess, completely what the third act would look like. You have this guy, Brad Pitt, old, disheveled F1 driver. You say you're a has-been. Well, now they're saying you were never was, or whatever the fuck. And he's teaming up with this younger. I should also preface, I have no fucking idea how F1 works. I've not watched a single match for a long period of time. I may have seen a 30-second clip on YouTube Short one time, and that's about it. But he's teamed up with this younger driver, and I guess it's about their conflict between generations, and also the older has-been has to prove that he still belongs. It's a fucking story that you've seen time and time again, but it's with F1. I don't know, it might be a good way for me to, it might be cool for me to watch and like get into Formula One if it like explains it in some way and seems interesting, because I know a lot of people who have been interested in it, and it's always been on my radar, that and NASCAR, honestly. But it's also crazy that they just call it F1, like that's the partnership they have. They're just like, can you like imagine if a movie came out just called NASCAR? Like, I don't know, like that I don't know, that was just a little minor thing that was like, wow, yeah, this is really just called F1. That's funny. It'll be on my radar. My dad wants to see it, we'll go see it, I guess. That'll probably be the one way, but and that's probably all with the news. But from the news, what's new with me? Not a whole lot. I will say, prior to filming this video, I got fucking one of the Scream movies spoiled for me. I was like looking across like different tweets and bookmarks and seeing different news things that I might want to talk about that wouldn't take up too much time. And I got this fucking cutesy ass tweet saying, and spoiler alert for one of the Scream movies, I don't even know which one it is, but just beware, I guess. Mikey Madison is the first Ghostface to win an Oscar. And I was like, fuck you. I'm still on 4. Fuck you. I mean, it's my fault. It's clearly my fault, but I feel like 5 or Scream and Scream 6 or whatever, 5 and 6 are still relatively new, that regardless of which one it is, like, come on, like, warn me. I don't know, whatever, but no, I haven't really been up to much. I referenced my job earlier in the episode. I'm not gonna give into what it is that I do, but over the last couple of weeks, I have been having to do like training, like kind of like classroom training type deal for like 3 days a week, while also doing a couple days like actually working the service that I do. And it's been good. I've learning a lot, getting a little, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but no, I think it's safe to say I'm overwhelmed. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff that I gotta learn. But it's been doing good. I'm enjoying the camaraderie of the other people that I'm meeting that are going through the course with me. And yeah, it's been nice. This seems like something at least that I could grow into and could have a career in and still have time to do shit that I want, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, how about let's talk about some things that I've been consuming recently. I've been fucking obsessed with Jay Aubrey. And I've watched Jay Aubrey for a while. Also, I'm going to preface, I don't know if it's Jawbry or Jay Aubrey. I think I've heard him say it both times. Like, I'm half convinced I've heard him say it both ways. But regardless, dude, if I showed you my fucking like my YouTube history right now, you would think I was like freaking riding on it. Swear to God. Like, there are videos that I've already seen before, and I go down these rabbit holes. Like, not rabbit holes. I go down these like lines and these just like I find something and I'm liking how the dopamine feels, so I'm just gonna continue watching it. And I've had it specifically with him, and I guess comparatively with the right opinion too. Usually they go hand in hand. And that's honestly, that's kind of started too. I literally fell asleep last night to a right opinion video. So I'll keep you I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, no, just been watching videos I've already seen just because I wanna hear it, because I also, yeah, I don't know, just been watching his shit a lot recently. I think he is one of the best at what he does in terms of just non-specific video essays regarding individuals that usually it's drama focused, but I mean, not always. I mean, there's some drama with it. I mean, you gotta have a reason to watch it, you know what I mean? But nah, his shit is so good. I love the editing. I love his writing style. The way he portrays, like speaks with his writing, I also really like. So yeah, I've been really like sinking my teeth back into his content. And I did also like I did mention earlier on, I've been reading Avengers Academy Fear Itself. I did finish that storyline. Overall, I really dug it. I'll give some brief thoughts because, like I said, I do have a video that I want to put out with this once. Like, I haven't like even started writing it yet, but I liked it enough that I would like to have its own thing about it. And I found it. I definitely fucked up. It's barely a Hank Pym story. I mean, he is relevant across all of it, but like him doing stuff that like shows any like character is few and far in between, I would say. Maybe like a moment an issue. I mean, it's only like, I only read what, like 7 issues, I think. It's probably like, he's probably got like 2 issues worth of like stuff that he does, you know, and I might be underselling that a little bit, but yeah, this is way more an Avengers Academy story. He was kind of like off doing other stuff, because what happens is there's this, I'm not going to remember any of the characters' names, but basically like Odin's fucking brother or something, or someone, I don't know, someone with like that power comes to Earth, takes over these villains, and gives them like Thor-like power and their own hammers, to which they then attack the Avengers Academy. And there's others all across the world. That's what the whole Fear Itself storyline is, if you aren't aware. And the 2 that the Avengers Academy are after, again, don't remember their names, but end up infiltrating their secret hideout in the underworld, or I believe that's what it's called, like the really, really small world or whatever they call it there. But Under Earth, they may have called it. That might have been what it was called. I don't remember. It'll be more specific in the video I put out. But no, I thought it was good. I thought it was really good character moments. I was impressed by how quickly I was able to I really care about some of the characters, specifically Metal and Hazmat. I think like clearly those are two that you can care about. And then towards the end, veil a little bit. That the one complaint, and I guess this is with any team thing, is that obviously certain characters are going to shine over others, and I would have liked to really get into the mindset of some of them a little bit more, but there was enough for you to at least know what all of their deal was, and it didn't feel like oh, this is all their deal is, but their actions all relate to this one deal that they have. Does that make sense? Like, it's not blatant in your face, like this is their only thing, but their character is at least consistent within that thing, I guess. But yeah, I really liked it, so be on the lookout for that video. So I talked about how TV shows are going to be hard, and Dune Prophecy is probably not going to be something that I'm going to get around to. But, you know what I have been getting around to? Fucking Kitchen Nightmares. Watched like 3 or 4 episodes of Kitchen Nightmares with my girlfriend, and not even like in order. We just find one on YouTube and watch it. And that's just what we've done like for several nights this week, or I guess 3 nights this week. And I mean, I've had a good time with it. I won't even lie. It's some are better than others. I definitely think I'm more partial to the older episodes than with the newer ones. And yeah, there is a formula with it, but there's those moments like when obviously Gordon is first eating the food and is just fucking ranting. Like, he said this thing where there was a fly on his hand while he was eating. He said, "Oh, the fly is more particular to my hand than the food." And that fucking had me rolling. Like this shit's funny. Like, I'm like, yes, like I'm turning into a fucking old man, but that shit was funny no matter how formulaic and fake it is. But we also like to play this little mini game when the show's over, where we Google the restaurant. Everyone's done this, right? I feel like this has got to be a universal thing for Kitchen Nightmare viewers. If you've watched any amount of episodes in a short period of time, like where it's been like a consistent thing, you've definitely done this, where you start Googling the restaurants and seeing if they still exist. Most of them don't. I believe there's been like whole videos about this probably, but most of them do not survive. Several that we watched didn't survive at the time of airing, which I thought was very interesting. But also been diving a little bit back into Assassin's Creed. I bought the Ezio. Actually, it might have been available through like PlayStation Plus or whatever. But I have the Ezio collection, and I have Assassin's Creed 3 downloaded, and the only Assassin's Creed games I've ever completed have been Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed the Black Flag, I think, which I don't even know if I finished that or not, but I'm wanting to at least play the Ezio collection, because I don't know what it is about those games. I think it's the art style and the kind of culture and history and the different sort of things that you can, like, there's so much shit that I can do, which as someone who probably is way more into video games than I am, because I'm really not like that versed, you're probably hearing that and being like, how about you play some fucking like Red Dead? We'll show you something to do. But I don't know, like, you know, like, it's filled with culture, filled with art. The Italy aesthetic is really neat, and I just like it. I think it's cool. I could spend 2 hours of a session just doing like different fucking like, you know, those challenges and the Templar layers where you either have to like kill people or like go across all these obstacles high up in the rafters of these buildings to find treasure. There's also like the Assassin's tombs and stuff like that. I could spend a whole 2 hours just doing that, and then maybe do 2 hours another day of fucking like actually playing the story. And I have a great time, man. I've been really enjoying it. I'm only on Assassin's Creed 2 again. I'm replaying that to hear the plot. The only thing is that it's so there's so much stuff that happens, I feel like, and so many different names that you need to remember, that anytime I like take a prolonged break from it and then come back, I'm like, fuck, who's who? Like, where the fuck am I in the story? But no, it's been really good. I'll talk a little bit about Creepshow 2 and 3. I kind of want to keep this going because I got to finish this up before my girlfriend comes home. But Creepshow 2 was okay. I would say 2 and 3 are kind of equal in terms of quality. I honestly want to say I like 3 a little bit more. 3 had something cool where it was all connected. Like, there were still individual short stories, but it all took place within the same, like, 2 fucked up towns. There was, like, kind of the suburban side and then, like, the more city side of it. And I kind of liked that aspect. I thought it was really neat, and just it felt more campy and like just goofy, which is one thing that I thought was missing from the second one a little bit. There was still like humorous moments, don't get me wrong, but like I 3 took me a minute to come around to, though, because the first story sucks. It was bad. It was basically this fucking like Click knockoff, which even Click is sort of a knockoff of a Goosebumps story that I've seen that is literally also called Click, which is just the same fucking thing as the universal remote that does weird shit. And yeah, just boring, drawn out, but like towards like the middle portion where I started to catch on that all of these are connected and there's like a lot of goofy humor to have with this, started to like it. I'll start a little more with 2. The opening animation is steps down for all of them, and that's the one thing I don't care for both 2 and 3, is that they don't have that comic aesthetic. I think 3 is helped by just how silly and slapstick it can be at some points. Not necessarily slapstick, but it's like in your face humor at some points. Like, I'm not saying it's like ha ha hoo funny, but like there's ideas and stuff that happen where I'm like, oh, like that, all right. I think that was fun, I guess. But where 2, I was just kind of like, we'll go through story by story. There was Old Chief Woodenhead. We're on Creepshow 2 first. Old Chief Woodenhead, whatever. I got nervous when I saw like the Native American in the opening title sequence, because I was like, what offensive shit is this about to say? Now, coming from a white man, I wouldn't say that this one was too offensive. Like, I mean, it was just like a statue of a Native American that comes alive and kills people because people disrespected like Native American tribal like artifacts that was given to this white guy for some reason, because his shop is the only reason that this reservation town is able to survive, I guess. And when that's stolen, the statue comes to life and starts killing the people involved. Like, that's not problematic, is it? I didn't think it was, but who am I, you know? Second one, we have the raft. If you've seen Creepshow 2, fuck Randy. The raft is basically these college people on this raft on this lake. They swim out to it, and then this weird black sludge thing, like, kind of like starts to fuck with him and goes under the raft. And what it can do, it's literally like a what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck. What is the word? Like, it has consciousness. What is that word? Regardless, it has consciousness. It's like a big black, like, they call it an oil spill at first. They think that's what it is, but it's alive. It's sentient. That's the word. And the way they figure this out is it just starts fucking eating them, like sucking them in. And the gore is actually really cool. I liked this one up to the part where it's fuck Randy. I'm not really going to say it. I'll probably have a moment to talk about it when I make my full video. But fuck Randy. They don't like promote what happens, but it's just like, why? Like, why the fuck? Why are we going there? You know? All in all, the horror was cool, the effects are cool, and the story was dope. The Hitchhiker, I know I keep saying it, but it was another like nice story. What's nice is that I think all of these ones fit in a smaller format, because Funny enough, the Creepshow one, there were some of those stories where I would watch an entire movie of, but these ones I think they only gave enough for like a 20-minute sequence and didn't overstay their welcome. Um, the Hitchhiker did get a little bit repetitive, but overall I think it's fitting with the overall theme of the story, and I really liked the ending. And honestly, I dug this one. Like I did dig it. It's not as much as the original by any means, and there's some serious acting gripes I have and script issues, but I really like the stories. My main issue with this outing is that it lacked the same sort of camp and whimsy that the first one had, and that really felt missed with me. And now with the third one, the opening art style is absolutely butt fuck insane. No, like I hated the opening. I hated also the opening skit, the kind of click knockoff thing that I was talking about. It sucked. The dialogue was atrocious. Like, there is going to be one. Now I'm thinking about this over. I do think that 3 might be less than 2. There's just one character, Professor Dayton, that he's God. He is God in these stories, because he's like this mad scientist professor that basically all the mayhem is related back to him. And I do like the actor's performance of Professor Dayton, but the performances were rough, the dialogue was terrible, and you had to listen to it like 4 times because the whole, like repeating thing, universal remote sort of deal. Like, and also, like, weird shit starts happening to the main girl, Alice, and she just, like, doesn't. Oh, wait, it kind of makes sense towards the end of it now, I guess. I'm, like, it's kind of making sense just because she's a rabbit. You're not going to understand what any of this means. I'm just going to, like, kind of speed roll through this one because there was some that I liked, some that I didn't in terms of the stories. After that first one, it really was up from there, I will say. The main highlight was probably the radio one. I think that one was my favorite. But yeah, I gotta kind of collect my bearings and kind of get this back on the roll. I was gonna talk about the Bengals free agency, but honestly, fuck it. I'm not gonna interrupt this to talk sports right now. I did want to do. Am I gonna have time? Maybe I'll save that for next week. I was going to do a special segment because I was taking out the fixation station. I wanted to add something in all these episodes, like a sort of special segment in them. But because I was overthinking the planning of this episode, I think I'm just going to have to cut this one out. I still have it planned, and I'll still do it for the next episode. What that is, you'll have to just come back and see. But basically, the special segment will just be something media adjacent that, I don't know, it could be top 10 list, could be tier list, could be like a comparison battle. I don't know. I'm just working out the kinks, to be for real. But the reason that I want to skip the special segment, because I want to make sure we get in this new segment that will be a stay. What am I trying to say? It'll be a staying segment for Fear of Boredom. This is like what is officially going to be replacing the fixation station for the Fear of Boredom show. And this one, the name is pending. I've maybe finishing my collection. I've also kind of thought of Collection Unseen. That might be one that's kind of cool. I don't know, but sound off in the comments. But so I want to view as many things as possible, but I haven't even watched all the movies that I fucking own. Like, that was the whole idea with the fixation station. Give me things to watch, give me things to do and look into, like, kind of hold me accountable. Like, these are things that you're supposed to be watching and consuming right now. And one feels a bit forceful at times, and it kind of has turned me off to wanting to watch some things at some points. And then I get too focused on what else is out there, what's forward, when I can literally just take it all step by step. Like, I'm going to spoil it now. There's like almost 50 movies that I own that I have not watched. Swear to God. Um, it's just it gets really hard when your focus like gets zipped left and right simply by the day, like literally. And another problem is I wanted to go so big with this show at the start with that idea, and I got so excited and I kept building and building upon it, and I don't know, I didn't allow myself to get in a rhythm first, so that each, I don't know, what I'm trying to say is this is going to be replacing this. What it is, I love wheels, so I have a wheel of all the movies that I own that I have yet to see. And each week, we will spin the wheel. We'll have a movie to talk about. Like this week will be the first one. We're going to spin a wheel. It's going to land on something. We'll return the following week with my report on that viewing. And then we'll spin the wheel afterwards to set up for the following week. Are you following me? Cool. But yeah, the other stuff will come in due time. I just want to make sure that movies are my focus first and foremost, because that's my thing. It's the thing I'm into the most. The other stuff will come, but the weekly basis of the Fixation Station, as I probably alluded to at the beginning, just wasn't going to work. I was not enjoying that format. But yeah, let's quickly... Yeah. Oh, so sorry. I got a little distracted because my girlfriend has officially left work. So I got to kind of finish up and put this in the can. So we are going to just do a spin for Collection Unseen. You should be seeing the wheel on your screen now. I'm going to be shuffling that a couple times. And as you can see, there are 48 entries. We're going to give it a spin. And this movie I will have a report on by next week. And that movie's going to be Blade Runner 2039. Okay, I should have mentioned this at the top. There's going to be a caveat with franchise movies. That only being that if I also own the original, I'm going to watch that first. I do own the first Blade Runner, so I'm going to watch that one first. But yeah, so make sure to tune in next week if you want to know my reports on Blade Runner. I think that's going to do it. I think we're good to wrap up this show. What's next? As I mentioned, I have a Fixation Station video on the Avengers Academy that I want to work on and that I want to make. And I also want to make something with the Creepshow trilogy. So be on the lookout for those. Be on the lookout for anything regarding the other forms of media, like maybe I'll get into wanting to listen to music more or have time to watch a TV show. And we'll just play those by ear. But hopefully we'll have another Fear of Boredom video out next. I think I'm going to change the days to Friday to Saturday. Because when this Monday came around, I just was not fucking ready. So usually I'm off either Friday or Saturday. So it gives me like a full day to fully dig in and work on this. But please feel free to comment below any thoughts that you may have on how the show can improve or just thoughts in general. You can also reach me at my email that should both be on the screen and in the description. I'm also available on several social media platforms if you just can't get enough of me. Make sure to subscribe if you want, but only if you liked as well. And I hope to see you all here again next week. But if not, we'll save you a seat for next time. To send us off, myself with some reflections on the show and how I hope to be better.